Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters from around the world, particularly from the African continent, good evening to you all. Good evening. I'm sure you'll agree with me that a speech that you are asked to give at almost 10 p.m. after people have had dinner is not the same speech you would have heard at 11 a.m. this morning. I hope we agree on that. I'm going to leave out a whole lot of things I would have said. I will try and keep this as brief as possible so we can have an interaction with my sisters who are coming up soon. I'm really delighted to be here at the Africa Philanthropy Conference. And I'd like to give a big shout out to my dear brother and friend of many years. Becky, where are you? Congratulations, Becky. You have done amazingly well. And my dear brother, Brian Kagoro, as well, who is always calling me out. And my sister of many, many years, Sarah Mukasa, and others I can't mention in this, who are gathered in this room. We have come a long way together. I want to start with a brief story that is not exactly mine to tell, but I have permission from the person who told it to us to keep repeating it. And when I asked Becky, what do you want me to do for this, and this presentation, he said, Bisi, we want you to just please tell us stories that can make us think. And there's a danger in asking someone my age to tell stories, an African woman my age to tell stories. But I'll try and keep it brief. Many of you would know Lema Gbowe from Liberia, the Nobel Peace Laureate, I think, of 2011, 2012. So Lema told us the story of something that happened around 2014 or so. She led a delegation from the Nobel Women's Initiative to the Democratic Republic of Congo. And when they were there, they had several convenings, but there was a particular one that they had with women's groups who had mostly been survivors of the ruthless conflict that has been going on in that country. And the women would tell their stories, particularly their stories of sexual violence. And their stories would go something like, the militia came, they killed my husband, they killed my son, they raped me and my daughters, and I almost lost my mind, and I didn't know what to do. And then the women came. And then the women would offer help, food, support, childcare, anything they could. And another woman would come and she would narrate mostly the same experience. And somewhere along the line, she would say, and then the women came. So after the women had finished their stories, the people on the delegation with Lema, who were mostly donors, journalists, academics, activists from different parts of the world, but most of them were from the United States, they started asking questions. So tell us, how do you feel now? Do you still think about what happened to you? Have you healed? Do you still see your violators? And they kept asking all these questions about the rape experiences that these women had shared. My friend Lema was absolutely furious. So when it was Lema's turn to speak as the head of the delegation, she said to them, you don't seem to have listened to what it is these women have shared with us. If we leave this place, I'm sure the headlines that will come out from you would be, women of DRC still suffer from rape experiences. That would be your headline. And the response to that headline would be saviors from the usual corners of the world rushing in to save the women of the DRC. But the headline that we should be going away with based on what we've heard from these women. Remember, they told us, and the women came. The headline should be one about how women of the DRC stand in solidarity with their sisters. What we have heard is a story of solidarity, of compassion, of unity, of togetherness, of hope. That is what is going to make all the things they have experienced bearable. And the legacy they are going to pass on to their daughters or their sons will be that we have survived and will continue to survive. Distinguished gentlemen, dear brothers and sisters, as I said earlier, we have come a long way in this movement. There are a number of things that we have now that we did not have, say, 25 years ago, and I should be in a position to say so because it's exactly 25 years since some of us established the African Women's Development Fund. It was set up, as was said in my introduction, by 3 African women, myself, Hilda Tadria from Uganda, and Joanna Foster, may her soul rest in power, from Ghana. We came together to set up an institution that would support feminist activism on this continent and meet the needs of feminists and women's rights activists wherever they were with the agendas that they wanted to work on. We didn't have money of our own, but we knew where to look for it. And we believe that even if we went around the world to seek money to run this foundation, ultimately this foundation would only survive if we can ensure that we have resources from our continent, human resources, financial resources, material resources, things that will enable us have ownership. And so 25 years ago, we did not have these kinds of spaces as African philanthropists. We did not have spaces where we could come together and share information and knowledge. We were having these meetings on the agendas of other conveners in other parts of the world. And those who were part of those processes will remember those days. But now we have the Africa Philanthropy Conference. We have the Africa Philanthropy Forum. We have the Africa Philanthropy Network. We have spaces for thinking, for dialogue, for learning, for contestation. And I believe that these spaces that have been created are the spaces that will take us to the places that we need to go in this field. We have a long journey ahead, and we heard a lot of things today, and that's why I decided to leave out a lot of things I would have shared with us, because I think there's a point at which we can go into information overload. We've heard a lot today. But I'd like to leave us with the thought that even though the road ahead is long and hard, it's possible. It can be done. Some of us have done it. We continue to do it. And the women came. Don't forget, the women are always there. They will always come. They will always be there. And we as Africans, wherever we are, we will always be there. Thank you.